Go through this whole process here for you. Where are my, oops, my layers here? Here we go. All right, so to make this work here, what I'm going to do is I've created a couple things. I have one is I've set up my background here. So here's my invisible background with my white square in the middle. And I'm just using the black right now so you can see what's in the background. But I'm not going to make that part of my final animation. Then I typed my letters in here. So these are just the type tool. If I use the type tool here, I can select these. I can change the color of them. I can do whatever I wanted to, just so they are like typed letters. Now I want this letter to turn green and this one to turn orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer, like so. I'm going to say green R, and I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer, and I'm going to call this one orange H. There we go. And now if I want to fill these, right now they're letters, but I'm just going to turn them into shapes. So I'm going to right click on the letters themselves. So where it says green R here, I'm going to say rasterize type. And that just turns it into a shape. You can see over here the way the letter T is right here, but then as soon as I rasterize it, it just turns into a shape. So I'm going to do that so that I can actually color it. So now it's just a shape. I'm going to go to my paint bucket. Let's choose green. Let's make it a bright green like so. I'm going to use a paint bucket and I'm going to fill that, make sure I'm on the right layer. Here's my green R. There we go. So that one's green. I'm going to go up to the orange H, and I'm going to fill this one green as well because that's going to come into play later. And then I'm going to go here to my orange, and I'm going to find this bright orange. And on the orange H layer, I'm going to fill that like so. All right, so I've got this layer. I've got this layer. I've got this layer. I have my white square. And then what I want to do is I want these letters to appear gradually. Like I could just make them sort of flash onto the screen, but I want them to look like they're being drawn or sort of like melted on here. So what I did was I created this shape. All right, and all this shape is going to do is when I pull this shape down onto the letters here, let me go to the shape. See the way it covers the letters here? So I want to have enough to cover the letters. So I need to add a little bit more here. Let me add a little bit more to this guy. I need to have enough to cover the letters. Like this. Let me get black and white here again. Make sure I'm on the right layer. I am. Let's fill that in. There we go. Select, deselect, or Command D. And this is a little bit sticking over here, but it'll be moved at the end, so it's fine. All right, so I have this piece here. So as this slides down, you can see the way it's revealing the letters, and it looks like they're being drawn. It's kind of cool, right? So you have the illusion that the letters are there, and then suddenly they just sort of appear. All right, so I'm going to start my animation with this white covering the whole thing just like that. All right, so if I look down here at my frame animation, I'm going to make a new frame here. I'm going to pull this down all the way. There we go. So it reveals the whole thing. And I can see here's my first frame, and here's my last frame. Now, I could try to do a step-by-step through all of this, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tween these shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first one. I'm going to click on the tweening button, and it's going to say all layers, position, opacity, effects. I'm going to add 8 frames in there so it's smoother. Maybe I'll do 10 frames so that the drawing part is a little slower. And I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to start with the next frame, it says here. I say OK. So now look at this. I don't even have to put all these in here, but if I hit play, it rolls down just like that. So now, in context, if I were to crop this out, I would just see that little bit of movement in the center. So that's step 1. All right, so here's my final position. So step 2, I'm going to make a duplicate of this frame. So I'm going to hit another frame in here, and I'm going to make the green come in, right? So I'm going to turn on green, right? So from here to here, that green is on just like that. But I don't want that green to just flash on. So again, I'm going to go back to 1. I'm going to say tween, and I'm going to say here's a position, opacity, effects. I'm going to say let's do 5. Let's have it go faster, and I'm going to say OK. So now here, from here to here, if I hit play, that fades just like so. So it's going to reveal the RH. It's going to fade that green. Then I want the orange to come in, so I'm going to add one more layer. I'm going to turn on the orange layer. So there's my green. And I could turn this green off if I want to. It's just replacing the green on top. I'm going to go to the one right before it. I'm going to hit the tweening button again. Yep, you guessed it. I'm going to say 5 frames. I'm going to say OK. And now I've tweened those frames. So now when I start at the beginning, that part slides down. The green comes in. The orange comes in, just like that. And then if I wanted to do something fun here, like let's say I wanted those letters to flash white and then green and red. I'm just going to go make another layer. I'm going to turn off the green and the red. I'm going to make another layer. Green and orange, I'm sorry, I say green and red, like so. I'm going to make another one. I'm going to turn off the green and orange. So now at the very end of this animation, it's going to flash like that. All right. If I wanted those things to change color, all I would have to do is obviously just make another set of the orange H here. So make a duplicate layer and call this one blue yellow, right? And then on this particular layer here at the end, let's make it flash this color. I turn this on, and instead of being green and orange, I'm going to go blue. So let's fill this with blue. And then I'm going to make this one yellow. Here you go. So here we go. We've got this one and we've got this one. So again, the secret to this is you just have to make a new layer for every single piece that you want. All right, so let's play it one more time. So it reveals, it changes colors, and then it flashes. There we go. Then the very last thing you're going to do is you're going to go all the way to the end here where your crop is, right? You're going to go to your cropping tool. I'm going to bring this back down to the square. All right, it's going to snap to the edges like so. I'm going to hit the check mark. There we go. And then I'm going to play it and see how it looks. Now I can see it looks like some things have changed on my timeline. Yeah, it cropped out the bottom of that white. So I'm going to have to mess with that just a little bit. So maybe what I'll do, let's go to undo. Let's try this. Let's try at the beginning. Let's try to crop it from here. So it does make a difference. Like I don't want to crop out the square. So what happened was this section was all the way down here that the cropped the bottom off. But now if I have it in its starting position, maybe it won't damage it. So let's try cropping it from here. So here, I'm going to bring this in here, bring this in here. So it does matter where you crop it from. Let's crop it. Oop, I didn't get quite all the way in there. There we go. Crop it. So it's a perfect square. Now I go back to the beginning and I hit play. There we go. So there's your reveal. There's your flash. And then it starts over again. And I see there's still a little bit on the edge over here. Let me start over here. Zoom in a little bit. Crop again. Yeah, we just need to get rid of that one little edge over here. Just. There we go. All right. So there you have it, playing forever or just playing once. So that's one way to get a reveal going on.